in Belém.
All right, let's hear now from Michael Sheldrick from the organisation Global Citizen, which campaigns on environmental and poverty issues. Michael, thank you so much for joining us here on the programme. This is such a monumental task for the leaders who have gathered at this summit, but certainly for President Lula da Silva, because people do look to his leadership on this.
Yeah, well, first of all, Yada, thanks for having me on the program. I think you're right. President Lula has shown leadership. He's charted a course to end illegal deforestation here in Brazil. But really, he's convening this summit to bring all the countries together and say, we need to chart a course to do this to avoid a tipping point in the Amazon. And the message I've been hearing loud and clear from this extraordinary dialogue of the private sector, of indigenous activists, of governments, extraordinary philanthropy, is that we cannot do this without offering a pathway out of poverty and vulnerability for the more than 30 million people who live between the trees and the land here in the Amazon. We can't be the ones finger pointing saying, stop producing fossil fuels, stop illegal deforestation without those incentives and without that roadmap. That's a message.
There is so much money, though, Michael, in the industries who are exploiting the Amazon. Are they willing to step away from that? Because this is a dangerous and uphill task to stop them.
Well, look, I've heard a lot about carbon credits. I've heard a lot about carbon markets. But the reality is, how do you actually get the money into the hands of those who are the guardians, the protectors, who are actually doing the work to provide this global public benefit? And for that, we need clear rules of the road. We need standards endorsed by government to ensure an equitable earth. And we need regulation. We need to boot out the carbon cowboys and ensure that the money can flow. The carbon market, with proper regulation, proper incentives, and proper structure, can be a source both to lift these communities out of poverty, but also protect the Amazon.
Michael, I mean, clearly there is the will here, because this summit has been held. I mean, when you have a moment to think about where Brazil was under Jair Bolsonaro in terms of its approach to climate change, you know, it's a sort of 180-degree sort of shift here. However, it's about implementation, isn't it? You know, we can talk about these steps and what's needed, but it's not just about having the summit, it's then making it happen.
Well, on the eve of this summit, satellite imagery revealed that in the last year, deforestation has been reduced here by 66% in the Brazilian Amazon. So President Lula is leading the way with, as you say, implementing the change. The challenge is how do we bring all countries together, not just in the Amazon, but where there is deforestation taking place in Indonesia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, representatives of which were invited here. The point is we're moving far too slowly, and we're not supporting with the right incentives the communities who actually live in the Amazon. And that's why even the United Kingdom, taxpayers there, we need to keep our promises as well. This is about a global public benefit.
And Michael, was that discussed, how to create those incentives?
So I think what we've heard time and time again is that, you know, communities here in the Amazon, you know, who are just now finding opportunities to develop, they stand ready to protect the Amazon. But their message is, you can't ask us, you know, to take action on climate change to save nature without also having an economic livelihood. Living in poverty so the rest of us can enjoy the beauty of the Amazon isn't the answer. We need to find an answer to both. And that's where companies, as you said, who have made these net zero pledges, they should be contributing, but making sure contributing in the right way to actually ensure that the benefits flow to those on the ground. And that's why we're appealing for government to endorse the right standards for companies to be responsible in how they approach communities here on the ground.
Michael Sheldrick from Global Citizen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.